Hello, Paula Burns here, PAB Events, Weddings and Special Celebrations. So if this is the first time you're watching a video from me, I would just like to tell you a little bit about me, what I do, and a little bit about my business. So I'm all things events. I create weddings, I plan them from start to finish, or I will go in, dress a venue, come up with unique styles, decorations, just to be able to create something that's a little bit different, um, more about you and your personality. So today I want to talk about wedding budgets because it's a very big thing, and it gets discussed so much within the wedding industry and amongst engaged couples who are planning their wedding. And the conversations range from it's so expensive, everything's really expensive, can we really afford to do this, let's plan this over a whole 2-year period. And then there's other conversations where people are saying, oh, well, I'm doing it all myself, it's really cheap, so I'm just trying to pull everything together, and I can make everything myself, so it'll be great, I'll be able to do it really small amounts. So there's such a range of conversations that happen around the wedding budget, which is why I wanted to come on this video and have a chat about it. So when you are setting a wedding budget, I know that a lot of the times wedding couples tend to say to me when I have this conversation with them about the wedding budget, and I say, what is your budget? And they look very blankly and they say, well, I don't really know. What we've started to do is we're just meeting different suppliers, we're going to different wedding fairs, we're asking them what their prices are, and then we're making a list, and then we can come out with something at the end that will say how much our wedding is going to cost us. And I'll tell you what's wrong with this way of setting a budget. Because you have never created a wedding before, because you don't have any experience in creating a wedding, what you will do is you go out looking for people to quote you, and then you provide the price based on that. But what happens is that you might ask one person how much something is, and then later on down the line you'll meet someone else, or you might even be doing your research and just ringing loads of different people and trying to find out what the price is for a certain product or a certain service. Someone might quote you something really high, and then someone else quotes you something quite low. And what happens is sometimes you end up going with a lower price because it just makes sense to go for something that's cheaper, doesn't it? The problem with that is that you never know whether or not you're getting the best value for your money. So I always say, when you are planning your budget, the first thing that you need to do is to sit down together as a couple and decide what is the ceiling, what is the maximum amount of money that you want to spend on your wedding. And it's got to be something that's unique to you. There's no point in saying, oh, well, if we're getting married, we need to have 20 grand, or we need to have 15 grand, or we need to have 10 grand. It is down to you. What is it that you want to spend as a couple? If you don't want to spend 10, 15, 20 grand, and you would prefer to spend 5 grand on your wedding, you need to make that decision right from the very beginning. There's no point going off and speaking to suppliers and then finding that actually your budget is going to go way off the scale, which is something you're not comfortable with. So the first question I ask my couples when they look at me very vaguely when I talk about the budget is I say, okay, tell me what you're comfortable with. And I'll start with a really ridiculous figure, like I'll go off the scale and I'll say, oh, well, is 30 grand fine? And they, oh, whoa, no, not 30 grand. And I say, okay, 20 grand. No, we don't want to spend that. 15, 10, and I keep bringing it down. And eventually they start to look a lot more comfortable with the figure. That's when I know that I've honed in on a figure that's more about them and what they want to spend. That's how you create your budget. That's how you decide on your budget. Once you set your ceiling and you go out then and start doing your research, You're looking for things that fit under that umbrella. But the other thing to remember is you can't just base your decision on price, because you need to look at reputation, look at how long they've been in the business, get testimonials. As I say, you've never done this before. It's so important that you do the research, that you understand who's doing what, who's doing it better than others, who knows who in the industry. Which is why what I do in terms of wedding planning and managing and looking after my couples is so, so important, because I keep them within the ceiling of their budget, and I also find reputable suppliers that are going to provide them with exactly what it is that they want for their wedding. So I hope you found that useful in terms of setting your budget. If you'd like to find out any more about what I do and how I can help you set that budget and how I can help you save money and manage the whole process, or just come in and help as and when you need me, just pop over to my website, which is www.pabevents.co.uk, and you will find all of the things that we do in order to help you create a special day within your budget. See you soon.